Okay, everyone, welcome to our fourth and final event for Resolution 2021. It's been an incredible journey with all of you. My name is Audrey Rader-Sikora. I oversee content and social strategy at Memorial Hermann. And today, Sondra Kaighen, a staff chaplain at Memorial Hermann, is going to walk us through a guided meditation. For those of you who have questions, please feel free to utilize the Q&A feature through Zoom, and we will save 5 minutes at the end for Sondra to answer your questions. We will also record this session and post it to the Resolution website after this event. So if you'd like to watch it again, we welcome you to do so on the site. Sondra, I turn it over to you.
Great. Thanks, Audrey. I'm so excited about being invited to do this. This is the final piece of the resolutions puzzle. We've learned how to eat better. We've learned how to kick off our new exercise routines, and we've learned how to cook healthier meals. So today we're going to work on how to settle our minds. All of the other exercises and training we've been doing has been primarily about our bodies. So today we're going to learn about how to quiet our mind by using meditation. Or any and many mindfulness practices that we can learn about today. So what is meditation? And why do we meditate? What is the reason why anyone would want to go sit down and just be quiet for a little bit? And I would say that there's a lot of reasons that people actually choose meditation, but I think the biggest benefit is just learning how to still our minds. Our bodies stay in the present moment at all times. It has to. We can't move throughout the world with our not paying attention to what's happening in our body. But our minds tend to live elsewhere. And so we're always thinking about the future, worrying about things that we have on our plate or on our to-do list, or whether or not we got our workout in this week. We also worry about the past. We worry about what actions we took or things that we said and how they affected others, or perhaps things that we have done. So meditation is a way to really connect the mind with the body. And also what will happen is when you can quiet your mind, you're actually developing insight into yourself, and you're learning about yourself and what all this mind chatter is doing. We never stop thinking, even when we're sleeping. We're constantly in thought, very disconnected at times and very helpful that gets us through our workday, for example. But things come to our minds by our experiences. And so we can learn, and when we can quiet our mind and just sit, we can learn about ourselves, and we can learn what things trigger our pain or our suffering, and we can see what things may spark joy in us. And in this way, we're in control and can develop our own joy rather than just waiting for it to fall into our laps. And so those are the reasons why we meditate, or some reasons. But what actually is meditation? And I like to kind of break it down into several components. So there's the breath, which we use as an anchor. It's the most common anchor that's used in no matter what kind of meditation you do, because it's free, it's accessible always. And it allows us to kind of focus on what's happening in our bodies through our breath. And when thoughts start to take control again, thoughts that we're trying to settle, we can use our breath to just remind ourselves, okay, let's just concentrate on breathing and not on thinking. And you can count up to 10 breaths, probably not more than that, because then you get wrapped up into the thinking. Or you can just allow the breath to be the sensation that you're going to focus on. So I like to think of thoughts as leaves on a stream. And when I am in meditation and all of these crazy thoughts come to mind, I just pay attention to the fact that they're thoughts, and even maybe say to myself, thinking. Because if I attach too much more meaning to those thoughts, then I'm going to run with the thoughts. And I just think of them as leaves passing by on the stream. I don't have to have a story to wrap around those thoughts. I don't have to let the thoughts kind of take me down the rabbit trails that it inevitably will do. I can just pay attention. And so what you're doing is you're developing your mindfulness muscle. And that translates off of the cushion or out of the chair into your everyday life. And you learn about yourself, and you learn how to not allow things to affect what you do. So it's helpful in marriage, it's helpful at work, it's helpful with your children to kind of slow the process down between the exterior stimulus that you're experiencing and how you react to it. And that reaction could be just a simple thought. It could be something that you voice, or it could be a reaction physically. So in order for us to be the best humans we can be, we need to try and understand ourselves and understand our triggers and understand the things that will help us get through the day and through the rest of our lives. So in addition to the breath, I think it's also important to think about your posture. Now, it doesn't matter if you're sitting on a cushion, or if you're sitting on a chair, or if you're lying on the floor or on your bed. The position that you're in is not that important. What's important is, one, that you're as comfortable as you can be, but not so comfortable that you're going to nod off into sleep. While sleep is obviously something that we also need, the meditation practice itself, if you're going to fall asleep, then just go with that and fall asleep, because you need to have your mind cleared and prepared to receive the information that you're learning about yourself. So when I think about posture, I think about first my bottom, because I tend to sit, whether I'm on a cushion or in a chair, and I pay attention to keeping my spine straight. So when I think about my bottom and I'm on a cushion, you want to make sure that your knees fall a little bit below your waist. So that means you may have to prop yourself up on a cushion, or you can use towels. You can just fold them up and bring yourself up a little bit higher so your knees can kind of fall naturally forward. And the reason for this is because your body is not supposed to, it cannot stop from hurting if your knees are higher than your hips, and you're going to find that your meditation kind of gets run away with by your knees, your ankles, and those things. So bottom, the next thing would be the legs. If you're sitting in a chair, put your feet flat on the floor. You don't want to have crossed legs at the ankles or at the knees, because again, it's all about posture. Keeping your spine straight is super important. If you're leaning forward, you're not going to have the best experience. Your stabilizing muscles are not going to hold you correctly, or sitting to one side. And your shoulders should be over your hips. Your hips, you know, kind of over your knees, but all possible. So I think the best way to think about it is there's a string that's coming from the top of your head down to the bottom of your spine. So that means you get your bottom and your legs ready. You've got your shoulders. I tend to roll mine and let my shoulder blades slide down my back. That kind of opens my heart and makes me receptive to whatever I might experience during this meditation. And then I want to keep my head over my shoulders. However, I don't want my chin to be raised, because my spine, it will be straighter if I can just drop my chin a little bit. And so we've done the bottom, the legs, the back, shoulders, the jaw. The jaw is a place that many people carry a lot of tension. I know mine is mostly in my shoulders, but I know my husband, for example, he's constantly clenching his teeth without even realizing that he's doing it. So if you can just kind of focus your attention for a second to make sure that your jaw is loose, maybe allow the tip of your tongue to just rest on the top of your mouth. And then also think about your eyes. I know I tend to bunch up my head a little bit when I'm meditating or when I'm talking, and no matter what I'm doing, it seems to always be there. But the muscles around your eyes, you can also focus on relaxing those muscles as well. So what it will look like is your head will be down a little bit. You can either close your eyes or you can leave them open, but it's probably easier if you're going to leave them open to just have a soft gaze about 4 to 6 feet in front of you. And this will allow you to not be so distracted by what is going on around you. So we talked about posture, breath, and the thoughts. Again, you can't stop thinking. So I hear complaints. I hear people say, I can't do this because I can't stop from thinking. And if you could stop from thinking, you don't need to meditate. You're already there. But that's the way our brains, it's part of the human condition. So what we want to do is we want to develop our brains so that we are not allowing those rampant thoughts to control us, and then we can control ourselves and our minds. So one of the complaints, again, is I can't do this. So just relax. And when you find yourself going down the rabbit trail with one of your thoughts, just bring your concentration back to the feeling of the cool air going into your nostrils and then warmed as it goes out. That will actually occupy your mind for a few seconds. And so you can continue to use that as your tool throughout the meditation in order to get back on track. So another complaint I hear often is, my knees hurt, my back hurts, I can't sit for more than 5 or 10 minutes. And I don't think the purpose of meditation is to see if you can sit still for 24 hours out of every day. That's crazy. But if you can just get 5 minutes in, that's fine. There's not any script that tells us that we have to meditate for 20 minutes twice a day or anything like that. In fact, in my work, I have found ways to have little mini meditations throughout my day. For example, when I'm opening or closing a door, I try to just concentrate on the act of opening the door and closing the door mindfully. That means I'm not slamming the door behind me. I'm not moving through the threshold with abandon and not paying attention to the people I might be affecting around me. So mindfulness is basically just that. It's just concentrating on exactly what it is that's happening throughout your day, both within and with outside of you. So again, if you have the ability to sit for 20 minutes, great. If you don't, that's great too. Even if you do a minute a day, you will find yourself feeling better. You might find out more about yourself, which will make you want to sit longer. And again, when I say sit, I mean meditate, because you can do it in just about any fashion that you would like. So there's different kinds of meditation. So there's like, and that's where you want to focus on one specific thing, whether it's a physical object or maybe it's a phrase out of a poem or a song or something like that. But it's basically what it sounds like. You're concentrating on one specific thing. And it's not done any differently. You just you set your intention when you go into the meditation to either just sit with your breath and try and calm your mind, or concentrate on something. And when I say concentration, it would be much like a sport. If you play racquetball, you don't play racquetball and be thinking about many other things, because otherwise you may get hurt. So if you think about the concentration that it takes in order to play a sport or play a game of chess or something like that, where you are totally focused on what you're doing, that is the epitome of mindfulness and being in the present moment. So we also have insight meditation, which is kind of what I've been talking about. You are calming your mind and you're sitting, but you're also learning. You're learning about yourself, and you're learning about why you do the things that you do. And it's just, again, it's just like every other educational moment. You're just learning more about yourself. There's also walking meditation, which is one of my favorites. And walking meditation, it's a great, I can't think of the word, but sitting side by side with sitting meditation. So many people can't sit for more than 5 or 10 minutes, but they would like to meditate longer. And so sometimes you can just stand up and start walking with the same intention and the same concentration that you do when you're sitting. It gives your joints a little break, and then you can just pay attention to the sensation of your feet hitting the floor, what that feels like from your heel all the way to your toe, and then work your focus all the way up your legs. Feel the calf muscles, your knees, your glutes, everything. And you just walk slowly and intentionally. Also, you can do what I call a savoring meditation, a walking meditation. And a savoring walking meditation is where you walk with the intention of finding joy. So for me, I go outside. I'm a kind of a nature person, and I like to do my walking outside in whatever the weather is, even if it's raining. But I look for things. I look for, say, a child's laughter that's both visual and audible. And I look for maybe just the colors that are in the trees or in the flowers, and the way the sun hits in certain spaces and the shadows that it throws. And I look for only things that give me joy. And I feel crazy happy when I do one of these, because all of the things that I would do perhaps on another day where I'm not as mindful as I should be, I may see things that just disturb me. And if I continue to focus on that, then I'm going to stay not in a great mood and have not be available for others in the way that I would like to be. So there's also an eating meditation. And again, there's no right or wrong way to do anything. These are just suggestions. When I eat, I try to focus on the health aspect of eating. What am I putting into my body? I focus on the colors of the food, the textures, the taste. And I also try to focus on, how did this food come to be in front of me? I have to thank the sun, I have to thank the rain, I have to thank photosynthesis, I have to thank the person who packaged the food, the person who perhaps prepared the food if I did not prepare it, and just all of the things that come together to make this eating experience just for me. And so I actually have a meditation that it's like a gatha that I say right before meditation, just silently to myself, right before I eat, just silently to myself. It doesn't have to be audible. So I'm going to do that for you right now. This food is the gift of the whole universe, the earth, the sky, and much hard work. May we live in a way that makes us worthy to receive it. May we transform our unskilled mental states and learn to eat in moderation. May we take in only foods that nourish us and prevent illness. And may we accept this gift so that we may transform the path of love and understanding. And so again, that gatha just points my mind to all of the things that I need to be grateful for and understand and be mindful of when I go to nourish myself. So all of these things that we've been talking about are mindfulness tools. There's probably a gazillion out there that people have developed on their own. Again, at the hospital, when I enter a room, we have the sanitizer on the wall. And now that, COVID has been visited on us, we're using a lot more sanitizer. Sanitizer is a great way to have a mini mindfulness moment. So what I do is I do one pump of the sanitizer, and then I just take 3 big, deep, full cleansing breaths as I move the soap around or the sanitizer around on my fingers and try to feel the sensation of the liquid as well as feel my breath. When I'm feeling my breath, I'm also going from head to toe, just checking in with my body and saying, okay, where's tension? And if there's another breath, then I try to send that breath to that place to release the tension. And quite frankly, the trick is once you notice you have tension, you naturally will work to give that the love that it needs at that moment. So we've been talking a lot about meditation. So I say we have a few minutes and we go ahead and do it. So let's go. And I always start meditation with a bell because as the sound is getting smaller and smaller, it helps me kind of slip into the meditation. So now we are thinking about getting our body into that position that is comfortable. It doesn't matter if it takes a minute or two for you to find that sweet spot, whether it's on your cushion or in your chair. Do that check through your body, shoulders up and back. Head tilted down just a little bit. Eyes closed, or a soft gaze right in front of you. So on each in-breath, I invite you to say to yourself, breathing in, I calm my mind. And on each out-breath, I think I'm sending a smile, whether it's to myself because I'm the one that needs it today, or to someone that I care about. Just pay attention to the sensation of the air entering your nostrils. Imagine it just going straight up, wrapping around your brain, down to your spine, and then back up again through your chest and back out your nostrils. You're just allowing your breath to settle into its natural rhythm. There's no need to force it or try to control it. Just pay attention. Your breath is a great barometer for what's going on in your body as well. Notice if your breath is long and deep. Is it short or ragged? And again, when you find yourself thinking, just say to yourself, thinking. All right, I'm going to ring the bell, and when you hear the bell, you can begin to bring your concentration back to the present moment. Thank you for sitting with me today. If you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Sondra. That was so beautiful. We do have some questions that have come in. So the first is from Michelle, and she says that she has some books that she reads in the morning. Some of them are biblical, and some are some short meditation stories. And she's asking if there's a best time to meditate, whether that be before or after the stories that she reads.
Oh, that's a great question. I read a lot of poetry, and sometimes the poetry that I'm reading actually makes me want to go and sit with it. So I don't think that there's a right or wrong answer to this question. I think it depends on what your intentions are. Are you wanting to digest this material while you sit with it? Or are you wanting to do meditation just as a separate thing from whatever it was that you were reading? So that's totally a personal preference. And as far as what time of the day, again, everyone's different. And I think you need to just trial and error, find the right times, find the right amount of time, and try reading the materials that are inspiring you and sitting with it, following that, or sit first and then read the materials, because either way, your experience is going to be different. You will be, again, digesting the material if you read it first, and afterwards, you're open to so much more after you have kind of settled your mind.
Thank you so much. Another person asked your tips for getting her children involved in meditation.
Your tips for getting children
Oh.
involved in meditation.
Okay, great. So I think children need to be of a certain age, but as young as 3, 4, and 5, you can begin to allow them to see you. I mean, that's the best teacher, quite frankly, is you. So a child doesn't have as much attention where they can sit still for very long. But I have attended meditation retreats where children have been in the room, and these children were obviously children of heavy meditators because they could, as young as 2 or 3, sit on a cushion next to their parent and just be quiet and just understand that this is maybe mom and dad's quiet time, and they understand that it's going to end and they're going to get their attention back, but they tend to be really quiet too. So I don't think it's ever too early, but probably anything younger than 3, they're just not going to understand exactly what you're doing. So you're not going to be able to help them get to that point.
Great. And then one final question. Mary just typed this in. She said, could you repeat what we should say while breathing in and out? Also, when you're breathing out, is it deep breathing or normal breathing?
All right. So I'll start with the last one. The breath is not important unless you're doing something specific with it. It's important as the tool to anchor you, but I don't think you should be forcing it one way or the other. Just pay attention to it. If you're going into a yoga class, sometimes there's different breathing techniques used in yoga. And it can be anything from closing a nostril and breathing only through one, or counting how long your breath is. But just generally speaking, meditation where you're just going to be quieting your mind, just pay attention. Is my breath deep and long? Is it short?
Thank you so much, Sondra. This was really enlightening. And thanks to all of you who've joined us. We will post the recording to the resolution website. So thank you all.
Thank you.